Hello and welcome back to Before the Blowup. My name is Samma Russell, and I'm so happy you're tuning in to listen to this episode today. I had my very first interview, and I'm so glad that I'm finally putting it out there for you guys to listen to. As you're listening to this episode, keep in mind this was my very first time interviewing someone, so bear with me. But it was so much fun, and I didn't want it to end. Now, before I cue up this episode, I'm just going to give you guys some insight on who this guest is. His name is Adam Bonomo, who goes by Bonomo. He is a singer-songwriter and a fantastic pianist. He's from Florida and now living in New York pursuing music. He currently has one album out called Phases, and I highly recommend you give it a listen, maybe even before you listen to this episode, just so you know you're kind of familiar with his stuff, but also up to you. You can do it after. In this episode, Adam and I dive deep into his sound, how he first got into music, the trials and tribulations of living in New York, and where he hopes to take his music in the future. It was, again, such a fun conversation, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. So without further ado, this is my first interview with Adam Bonomo.
Okay, we're live.
Nice.
Right? Okay. All right. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
How are
Okay.
you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm wearing my Bonomo shirt.
I was just about to say, wow, that's a really cool shirt you have on there.
I know, right? Some cool guy gave it to me. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little intro. Welcome back, everyone. This is the very first podcast interview with Adam Bonomo. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Very excited to have you here today. I feel like before we start, we have to give a little background to how we got here and how this came to be, because I think it's a pretty cool story. Yes. I'm wearing the Bonomo t-shirt. If no one noticed, this is
nice.
The
it
merch.
Does look like me. I think people put that together.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
quickly.
The day I saw it, I was like, oh, that kind of looks like the guy over there. That
I'm not sure whether it's a compliment at this point or if it's trying
I think it is. I think it gives you character. I think it adds. It's good. I like it. I think it suits it very well. So the way you and I met was, I was in the Bay Area visiting my older sister Miriam, and they don't go out much. And I was like, you guys, we have to get you guys out of the house. Let's do something fun. And so I heard of So Far for some time now, and I was like, let's go to one of the concerts in San Francisco, because we've been meaning to go down there. And so we got tickets and we go, and the venue was so cool. This guy's house, apparently he was an investor for the company. For those who don't know what So Far is, So Far Sounds is a company that organizes small, intimate concerts, and they have a few artists come, and it's just a room full of random people, and everyone brings their own drink, and you just sit around and listen to someone perform. So fun. I love it. I love that idea.
I think it stands for Sounds from a Room.
Yes. Sounds from a Room. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I love that. And so we go to this venue, and then my sister, myself, and her husband, we go up to the roof of this place, and then you come up with your dog, and we just start chatting, and we're having some fun conversations. You tell us about some show recommendations, one of which was Barry, by the way, and we started it. I was going to tell you that. Yeah, okay. So it's so good. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay, it's dark. It's a dark one.
It's a dark one, and the actor for it, what's his name? Ben Harding? Something like that. He's a comedy actor on. Yes.
Bill Hader.
Who's Ben Harding? I don't know.
It's BH. You got the BH.
Yeah. That's all I had. He does like a serious role. Anyway, good show for anyone listening and needs a new show to watch. It's on HBO. It was. I loved it. We were cackling our butts off. It was so funny. And so and then we're just talking with you, and we're like, oh, like, are you here supporting someone just for fun? And you're like, oh, I'm actually performing. And we're all like, what? No way. Because it was all our first times. We weren't sure if like artists would like, chat with others and whatnot. And so we talked to you, and then you performed, and I had chills the whole time. You were so good. And then we got your merch, and then I was so, my sister was like, you should ask him to be on the podcast, and I hadn't had anyone on yet, so I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know. And then you were obviously so great about it, and here we are. So
yes, here we are.
Yeah.
I always find those moments to be, it's like you're standing on a 50-50 chance of like, wow, it's like I met you, talked up there, then I go play, and then you're like, well, we liked him better when he was just talking on the roof. It could have gone that way. I'm really happy that it went the other way.
No, it was honestly, and I've been spending some time listening to your music since. I'm pretty sure you saw my story last night because I was listening to your album. So good. I have so much to say, and I have so many questions, and I just can't wait to get into it.
Cool.
Let's start with asking, how are you? Where's your current location? What you been up to?
Yeah, I am very well, thank you. I've got quite a few shows this week, so I'm like I got my head down and I'm getting ready, so
nice.
I can make some more friends on a rooftop somewhere, hopefully.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been seeing you have a lot of gigs coming up. Are you just doing like small shows? You're doing more for So Far. You've done a couple shows for them, hey?
I do play pretty regularly with So Far. They're great. They're a great organization,
awesome.
and they really like, they put on great shows, so it's always fun to work with them.
Oh, fun.
But I'm here in Brooklyn, and I'm doing a little traveling, like how I met you in San Francisco. I do some spots here and there.
Nice.
But I'm primarily in Brooklyn right now, and kind of just keeping it rolling,
Awesome. Where are you from originally? Where did you grow up? Out of curiosity.
I grew up in a town called Jupiter, Florida. I think we talked about this. I'm from Florida.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Not by choice. I just happened to. That's where I came out. Right. I didn't mean for that to be that place.
Yeah. Would have preferred New York, maybe, but
I don't know. Florida's weird because it's like the punching bag of America, but it's also like populated by mostly New Yorkers. So
interesting.
If you're going to call Florida crazy, you're also sort of calling, and I'm not defending Florida.
Right. Okay. Right.
Don't get me wrong. They've committed their fouls.
Yeah. When was the last time you were back there? Do you visit often? Is your family still there?
I mean, my family lives there. I go when
also, Florida's beautiful. I mean, I've only seen photos, but beautiful place.
No, Florida, in my opinion, Florida is a perfect place to begin and end, like to grow up.
I like that. Okay.
Your journey. But in the middle, while you're figuring out like what you want to do with yourself and like, how to contribute to society or whatever.
Right.
It might be difficult there.
So how did you get into music in a place like Florida, I guess, if it's,
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I feel like bashing Florida right now. Like in a place like Florida, like do they even have music down there?
Do they even listen to anything, or it's just the national anthem on repeat?
Yeah, right. So my parents are both classical musicians. And
interesting. Okay.
So you know how kids, they rebel. They can't be what their parents are. So I didn't do that. I resisted music pretty much until I was like about 18.
Gotcha. Okay.
I took 4 piano lessons or something like that, 6 piano lessons, and then I auditioned for 2 schools in Florida.
Okay.
And which
schools?
Music schools, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is hilarious.
Right.
Like people, they play music their whole life.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I wasn't like prodigy. Like don't think that.
Okay.
It was more of like I had a strong.
Were you just auditioning because you're like, just like, were your parents kind of, you should do it, or?
I had a strong. I always had a good ear, and I had a strong like propensity for music.
Right.
I didn't just sit down and was like crazy.
Right.
It wasn't. It was just impressive how quickly I was getting it, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I took those lessons. I had a very good teacher at the same time.
Nice.
And then one school I did not get in, and one school I did, and it was kind of like, okay, I guess I can do this.
Nice.
So from that moment, it was just I took it very, very seriously. Practice room, 8 hours a day, doing that thing, like less sleep, more practice kind of thing.
Yeah. And then do you find that with time you were like, okay, maybe I can make a career out of this? Or you still kind of like pushing away and, you know, hoping something else would come up?
No, I always knew that it was music. Like the thing that I wanted to do and use as a way of expressing myself was music. Easily answered that question. How was the hard part.
Totally.
And I think it wasn't until I moved, once I graduated, it wasn't until I moved to New York.
Yeah.
I was originally playing a lot of jazz music.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I was like, I'm gonna be a jazz musician.
Nice.
I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna like be this, you know, I'm gonna show the jazz world like, yo, this is how you. And then I got to New York and I was like, shit.
Yeah, looking around, you're like the little
like
guy.
There's people here who are like truly immersed in this music and like have had it from a young age and just can, you know. And it's also resonates.
Totally.
You know, I love jazz music like with a deep passion, but some of that, it doesn't resonate to me in the same way that folk music does.
Gotcha.
Or gospel music or classical music. And so it was just about taking whatever I figured out basically that it's about taking those things that resonate well with you and combining them. And that's what makes your sound you.
I like
these little,
that.
You know, you cherry pick these little things.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that became, I guess, to answer your question like fully, you know, that became how to make music a sustainable craft.
Okay. I love that. I love when I can hear different, because one of my questions for you was, what would you consider your genre to be, you know? Because I feel like, especially with music today, it's just so broad and it's like you can't really put someone in just one under one category, because like for instance for your music I heard like you were saying, like I kind of heard the gospel in there, and then there was the jazz in there, and then there's the electric guitar, and I'm like, oh, I just love the little elements of the different parts of music. So I guess like, would you consider yourself under an umbrella, or would you just say, like you said, you just cherry pick from a bunch of different places?
So a good friend of mine told me once that you have to name it, or otherwise they'll name it and then it'll be wrong.
That's a good piece of, he's not wrong.
So I named it. All right, here I go. I call it folk fusion.
Ooh,
my music. So, and what I mean by that is this is my analogy that I've tried to create. So I think I told you this on the roof, maybe, but maybe not. But so you know how a prism, like the little glass triangle, it funnels light and turns white light into the rainbow. So it separates light. So my music is a reverse prism. I take all the colors of the rainbow and funnel it into one color. And that's
how'd you come up with that analogy?
I'm also admittedly like a science nerd, and that's why I have a song called Red Shifted.
No way. Oh, Red Shifted? Is that something about science?
Sure is.
What does that mean?
Oh, I love this is my TED Talk right now. Thank you.
I love it. I'm so here for it. I love listening to this. Go ahead.
I mean, okay, it's not that crazy of a concept. So the Doppler effect, you know, when a train goes by and it's like, and the pitch changes.
Right. Okay.
Wow. Was that a really bad?
No, that was, I got impression? You. No. One more time for the listeners.
I feel like I have a microphone. I should be good at that. No, I don't want to do it again. It was gonna get worse. But so the when the train's coming towards you, the sound waves are compressed, so the pitch is higher, and when it's going away from you, the sound waves are longer, so the pitch is lower.
Right. Okay.
And just like sound, light is a wave. So when sound is when light is coming towards you, it's blue shifted. There's shorter wavelengths.
Yeah.
And when light is going away from you, it's red shifted.
Whoa.
And that's how they figured out the universe was expanding. They looked up into the sky, cool. And the stars are red shifted, and the guy was like, "Oh shit!"
And then the
Hubble? Is the internet gonna correct me? Was it Hubble? Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
The scientist?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. And so red shifted is with light, like blue shifted and red shifted. And then sorry, what was it? Is there a word for it for sound?
The Doppler effect.
The Doppler effect. Yeah. That is super cool. So does a part of you so you said you love science. Did you ever, I guess you just integrated into your music. That's awesome that you can, I love that. That's so cool.
Thanks.
Cool fun fact. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. Are you ready for the next question? I have a list. I've made a list on my notes. Okay,
Fire
I guess.
away.
So what did you grow up listening to? So your parents were classical artists. Is that right? Composers, artists.
Mm-hmm.
So probably you grew up around with a piano in the house, I assume, and whatnot. And then you obviously learned a bit. Do you play any other instruments?
No, I mean I play the organ, but it's not really. It's
But
a
piano's
different.
like your.
It's like, it's like ping pong to tennis, but
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
they're different, but they're similar. So I wouldn't
Right.
consider that a different instrument.
Right. Yeah. So what did you grow up listening to? Like, if there is,
I had a very like segmented musical upbringing. Like, I remember when I was little, my parents being classical musicians, we would only listen to classical music, which is fine.
Gotcha. Right.
And then at some point we were just like, can we listen to something else? So then it was like a little bit of the Beatles, because my mom's from Hungary, and my dad is from Long Island.
Very cool.
So you're getting like
two very different.
You're getting classic American like repertoire, the Beatles and stuff like that. And then that was it. And then my sister, I have an older sister who actually has an orchestra in San Francisco called One Found Sound.
She runs it, or she's the head?
She runs it. It's a really cool organization.
Awesome. And you said you were in San Francisco to see her, right?
That's actually why I was there.
Right.
And I snuck a show in.
Awesome. So fun. Okay.
But anyway, so I saw, I had those two like musical pillars there, and then sort of like emptiness until middle school.
Right.
Got the Chili Peppers, and then System of a Down, just straight into the shadow realm.
Nice.
Like
kind of
getting my hands dirty.
Right.
And like Stone Temple Pilots.
Okay.
And then straight to Jay-Z. Right into
just
the open arms of
Jay-Z.
Yeah,
nice. Love it. And was that like when he first like was on his come up, I guess? Was that, or was it a little after?
Yeah, I mean, I got all the MTV stuff,
Yeah. Totally.
For all the people who can remember that.
Right. Yeah.
And
I watched I only know that because I watched a bit of Kanye's documentary recently. And he talks about Jay-Z a lot and his MTV segment and whatnot. So yeah, that's cool.
And
okay.
Then, I had such like
so where does folk come in for you?
I was missing like so much music is what I was gonna say. Like I got to New York basically after studying piano.
Right.
And then being like feeling like something, but then when I got here, I was like, I don't know anything.
Right. You felt like you were only like, I guess, exposed to one of so many.
When you thought you were zoomed out, but you were really zoomed in, and you're really looking at it like,
you're like, oh big. Shit.
It's like,
Yeah.
I got to New York, and then it kind of got opened up to all this other really deep styles of music.
Nice.
And I kind of forgot to mention, but I did start playing piano at a gospel church while I was in school.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And that kind of opened up this new thing, because it's these things were all related at one point. All these styles, folk music, gospel music, jazz music, they shared even the same instrumentation.
Right.
If you go back far enough. And now they're separate genres.
Right.
But if you play like air quote older music, they all sort of, borrow from each other.
Totally.
And that's where I found this folk music kind of influence, where you go back far enough in jazz, you find similarity. You go back far enough in gospel music, you find a similarity.
Right.
And pick your music.
Right.
It kind of like goes back, and they all sort of touch each other.
Okay, I see. And I guess going on to like, I feel like moving to New York has been a big part in you kind of finding your sound and whatnot. How has living in New York as a solo artist been? Like, do you I guess it's a pretty good spot. There's a lot of opportunity, but did you was it intimidating? I feel like, it's kind of scary, or like, how was that for you?
I always say this, and I get mixed reviews, but I always say I I kind of it's like either when you do something like move to New York from a smallish town, no matter who you are, you either have to be really brave or too dumb to know the difference. And either way, I think you'll get there.
Right.
You'll get to where you're trying to go or close to it.
Right.
And I don't know which one I was.
Can't tell.
Yeah. I don't think, I think I really didn't know the odds.
Right.
So I just came in and was like, I'm, with the optimism of like somebody who wants to do something, and then just kind of went for it.
Nice.
It's definitely shaped my musicality, like
totally
100%. There's so much music here on such a high level that you can really like get into the the tactile part of whatever you're trying to learn, whatever you're trying to do, and you can learn what makes that thing. What makes jazz music swing really good, what makes folk music like hit you in the heart, what makes all this.
You're making me want to move there. I'm like, oh
yeah. But at the same time, it's like the rent is like, well, hello.
Yeah.
You ever want money? No, you didn't.
Yeah.
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 Actually, I wrote a song about this.
Yes, I remember. You didn't release it though. You haven't released it, have you? Or at least, are you going to? Is that in the works?
Yeah.
It was called Dear City, right? Dear City. Yeah, that was the first song you performed. It was good.
Hey,
I loved it.
It's working. You remember?
Oh yeah. That was a good one. Where was I gonna go off from that? Okay, so New York, you're there. Was there ever moments where you were like, maybe I should go? Because I think what you said is very true. Either you don't kind of like think about the odds, or you're like, personally, I kind of like to plan things ahead. But I think making a life shift of just, moving to New York, I feel like no matter what, something will present itself just because you took that leap, maybe not always, maybe that's again, like my optimism speaking, but I feel like even if it's like a learning experience, you're like, okay, this isn't for me. At least you tried it. And then, but was there ever moments where you're like, maybe New York isn't like a place for me, or were you like, oh, I can't go back type?
It's this is what, I'm with you. You go for it, and then something will happen because you're going for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you halfway do it, of course, it's never going to happen.
Right.
I mean, I've been here for almost 10 years now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I really enjoy like certain aspects of New York, and then other aspects I'm like, I like trees.
Right.
I like trees. I
like
the
concrete's not doing it.
Yeah. I like not having to see people like right when you open your door. Open your door, there's just a guy with a bag of stuff, and you're like, where did you come from? Why are you right here?
He's like, hey, how are you? You're like, well, I don't know you.
Yeah. Well, not even. No, New York they don't do the hey, how are you?
No.
You say, hey, how are you? And then they throw the question back at you fast as they can. So it's like, how you doing? How you doing?
So no, and then you're like, oh, you.
Yeah, it's almost like, don't ask me how I'm doing. How you doing?
You, yeah. I see. That's so funny. Okay.
Clearly, I'm busy.
Ask you and then walked away.
Right. I have a guy in my building. That's the only conversation we've ever had.
How are you?
And he says, how you doing? He's always like, how you doing? I'm like, how you doing? And then the only time he's ever talked to me is, you mentioned my dog, Lyra. She's a star.
Yeah, love her. Oh, so that's also science-based kind of astrology?
Yeah, the constellation.
Okay. We'll get into that after. Okay,
yeah. The only time he's ever talked to me is when he saw this dog. I have a very cute little black dog, little golden doodle. And he kind of looks grumpy. So he's just like, how you doing? How you doing? All right, that's our conversation.
The Brooklyn accent and all?
The dog, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he sees the dog and he's like, oh, the little puppy. Like he goes into that. I'm like, he's a very large man too. So it's like, where is this coming from?
That's so funny. Your dog's got a way with people, I guess. Just knows.
She's special.
So I feel like we need to talk. Let's have a moment about your dog, because your dog is very cute. So I met Adam's dog when I Met You in San Francisco. So cute. I think that was our conversation starter. And her name is
Lyra.
And why don't you tell us? I feel like we have to go back to the science a little about why you chose that name.
Well, I bring her to all my shows because if something goes wrong, you just grab the dog, you hold her up like the Lion King, and everybody's happy.
Nice.
Everyone's
happy.
You're good.
Yeah, that's a good safety net you got.
It's a safety net. Yeah, I mean, Lyra, we got her from the Amish. We rescued her from the Amish and showed her the wonders of electricity.
New York. Yeah. Electricity along with concrete.
Yeah. I mean, I get, I'm a science nerd and I'm a play piano, and we were looking, she's a black dog with a little white thing on her chest. So we were looking for names, names of things that are black.
Nice.
And we were thinking of stones. There's like onyx and granite, and like you have to say it. We say it a few times to be like, do I want this in my mouth for like 15 years?
Granite. Granny,
yeah, I'm not saying onyx. I'm not gonna say it. Annoying.
Doesn't work. Doesn't fit.
So then we started like, what else is black? Well, we're like space.
Nice.
Space is black.
Totally. Yeah.
It's like totally black.
Yeah.
And then so when we put her in the car, I was listening to Dolly Parton.
Right.
And I know it was because this dog had never heard music before because they're Amish.
Right.
But I want to believe that the dog was like,
Dolly
Parton, who's that? So the dog did this little thing with her head. Yeah, she's like, the cute dog thing.
Yeah. The
Dolly Parton was on. This is the first time we just grabbed her.
Yeah.
They just passed her to us. I put her in the car and Dolly Parton was on. And she was like doing the thing, and I was like, oh. So we started thinking about constellations, and there's a constellation called the Lyra constellation, which is an ancient Greek instrument called the lyre. Lyre. And
cool.
It kind of just made sense.
I love it. It's such a good name. And then the instrument part is in there. Your science.
And apparently that name is also in the show His Dark Material, or the book that is now the show His Dark Materials.
What's that on?
HBO.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever
sponsored this podcast.
Sponsor
by
us.
HBO. Barry and
please sponsor us. That's awesome. Okay, so that's Lyra. Okay, I wanted to ask you this. So after your set at So Far, the host of the MC of the night, she came up and was like, "Oh, these are the two people." She said if Ben Platt, and I don't remember the other guy, but I'm gonna go with Adam Levine. I think she said Adam Levine had a child.
Adam Levine had a love child.
It would be you. I'm curious to know if you how do you feel when you kind of get compared to others, and do you agree, and are you kind of well, because I feel like it's not that it's I don't think she was meaning to insult you in any way at all, but maybe you know what I mean. I'm I just tried to think, if I'm trying to kind of create my own sound, do I want to be compared to others? Do you get compared often? Out of curiosity.
It doesn't bother me one bit, especially if the person is very well known and has a lifelong career. I'm like, thank you.
You're like, it's a compliment. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I take it fully.
Nice.
Yeah, I kind of think music and all the surrounding aspects of it, it's kind of like a Rorschach test.
Okay.
Because you wouldn't believe how many people come up to me and they're like, oh, that sounded like this or that guy. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, thank you. But in my head, I'm like, I've never heard one song from that person. So
Okay.
how could I sound like that?
Yeah.
I don't, or even like Bjork or something, which is an amazing artist.
Okay.
But I just don't listen to that much Bjork. And they're like, I hear a lot of Bjork in there. I'm like, great, amazing.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. Okay.
Which is,
cool.
It's the fact that people hear something in it is what I like. So I don't care who you pick. Pick your person. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And so I bet you've heard a lot of different ones, I guess. Because what are the different ones you have heard? Is there Bjork, you said, and then
I remember some of the people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
People are like Bjork and then Paul Simon.
Okay. I think I've heard of stuff.
And no one. It's funny because no one really gets what I really listen to. I'm waiting for the day that someone's like gets what I actually listen to.
What do you actually listen to?
I mean, I listen to older music pretty much. Like for myself, I spend some time. I also play piano as like a sideman and for other gigs and stuff like that. So I'm learning different contemporary music.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, when I'm kind of investigating sound in that way, I'm listening to old like arrangements of Billy Eckstine with Quincy Jones Orchestra.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Okay.
like Ray Charles, finding clips of him playing on YouTube, like old clip, because you can listen to the albums, and I do listen to the albums, but sometimes you have to dig a little bit to find out. Aretha Franklin is like in my house, everybody knows Aretha is the queen.
Gotcha. Okay. I love that.
Yeah, Dolly Parton, old Dolly
Right.
Parton, when
Yeah.
she was doing her trio or singing trios and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. So, have you done any Broadway out of here? Like, or I feel like in New York, have you been presented the opportunity? Has anyone asked you like, hey, you gotta, because when she said Ben Platt, I was like, oh, I was like, I hear it. Like, you kind of have like a little, I love it. It's a good little, it's like again, it's like that little dash of like, Broadway
If you
along
believe
with it.
in me that I can do Broadway, then I believe that
Hell
you
yeah.
believe.
I would buy a ticket for your show any day. Yeah, I can see you doing Broadway.
Sure.
Are you I guess not really acting, singing? You kind of like
I feel like I have that thing where I could act, but in a very specific role.
Gotcha. Okay. Kind of
like
like the
where I'm
one
actually just doing myself a version
I
of
see what you
myself,
mean.
kind of like
Right,
Will
right.
Ferrell, where it's
like Jennifer Aniston's kind of like that. Like she everyone kind of knows the characters she plays. And okay.
Right. It's the same character, but on a different movie every other 6 months.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's just Jennifer Aniston or
right.
Whatever. Okay, I see. But so you've never done a Broadway show or anything?
I've never done it.
Because I saw on your story your girlfriend. She's a Broadway actress, right?
Has done a few.
Has she tried to loop you in at all, or
no.
You're kind of like, nah.
No, you know what? I'm gonna say something. Why you're doing all these games? You didn't mention me once.
Come on now. She's is she in the Heights?
She is in the show in the Heights.
That's awesome. And you went to the show. How was it? Thoughts?
It was amazing. Yeah, they're so she's currently plug time. So she's currently in the a production of In the Heights in Los Angeles.
Okay. And is she touring or just in Los Angeles?
It's just in LA for now.
Gotcha. Awesome.
The La Miranda Theater.
Oh, okay. Anybody in Los Angeles, go check it out.
Yeah.
How long is she there for?
I think they got one more week of shows.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. And so did you fly down to LA to watch?
I did. I saw it last week.
Fine. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it was amazing.
I'm like, are you sure you don't want to do it? Okay.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I think you better check and see my acting credentials before you hire me.
Okay, we'll do an audition sometime. Yeah. We'll see how it is. Okay. Okay, I'm curious to know. First of all, do you remember like the first song you wrote?
Yeah.
You do? Do you still do you play it, or is it kind of like one for the back burner?
Yeah, it's just like, I mean,
and is it only piano, or do you like sing as well? Like,
it's no, it's piano and voice. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
First thing I wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it because that's how I started playing piano. I actually was at a the end of a rehearsal of a friend's house, and they were playing, and I had never played the piano before.
Right.
And everybody was sitting at an instrument except for the piano. The piano was the only one open. Right. So I sat down at the piano and I don't know, I put my hands on the piano and I made something up and it worked.
Look at that. So
that's
say you're not a prodigy.
I'm not. I'm really not. It's just like
I just put my hands on it and then boom. And then,
I mean, I went by the sound of it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And I feel like since you were so surrounded by it growing up, it's
right.
It's like a kind of like a part in your brain that you didn't know yet.
Right. It was kind of buried in there a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. How does your songwriting process look like? How do you, for instance, for your album, do you, how did your album come to be? And, how does writing look like for you? Does it take you a month to write a song, or you sit down in an hour and you just hash something out,
Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of a mix of answers.
Okay.
Sometimes like for example, Baby's All Right. That one was
I love
very
that song.
fast.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, you're good. Yeah, that one came very fast.
Okay.
Um, whereas um maybe a different song like Do Need or something like that
Okay.
was more of like I knew what some parts were and then I
Right.
had to suss it out,
Right.
be
Yeah.
like, what am I saying?
Right.
What
Right.
is it?
Right.
But I guess my process in general is kind of, I guess I'm kind of a purist
Okay.
in the sense of like I don't believe. All right, let me say this nicely.
Mhm.
I think that you get a better song if you can do all three things, if you combine everything at the same time: melody, rhythm, and harmony, like the
Mhm.
accompaniment. If they all came from the same place, you're gonna
Okay.
get a better song, in my opinion.
Okay.
Um, or a more true song. Because a
Gotcha.
lot of times, I can write four chords, loop it, and then go,
Right.
how do I feel? And then say that, and then be like, cool, you're
Right.
writing to a loop or what, or it's
Right.
fine. We all
Right.
do it.
Right.
I
I
just
guess
try
that's
to
kind of
go
like the easiest like way to get something out. So you do, sorry, you said you do your harmony, your melody, and your rhythm. And then do you add lyrics or do you just kind of like, yeah, so
sorry, I meant to add that too. So four things, all of it at once.
gotcha.
I
Okay.
kind of like the lyrics kind of come, I just do. So what I try to do is I'm playing and it's like word vomit.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
however I'm playing and however I'm feeling, I'm just letting it go.
Right.
No
Yeah.
judgments. And
Yeah.
something will stick and I take that idea and then kind of like a rapper would
Right.
freestyle. I
Right.
just freestyle on that idea.
Nice.
And then that's
And then
kind of
like
how it
something
takes
comes out,
form.
you're like, wait, that was not good.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah.
like what I try to do nowadays is feel like, as corny as it sounds, is like
Yeah.
feel something. So if
Yeah.
with Baby's
Totally.
All Right, for example, like
Yeah.
I had to stop playing. I got teary and emotional when I
Oh,
was writing that.
right.
And I was like, okay, I know that this is because the main issue for me at this point
Yeah.
is I'm going to play these songs more than you're ever going to listen to them.
Totally. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to enjoy it, like
Yeah.
really, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if I also am enjoying it, you're going to enjoy it. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Yeah.
I don't want to write. I try to like keep myself from writing just like a song for the song's sake. And I want
Right.
to write something that has like a punch to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because that was one of my questions. I was going to ask if you ever get sick of playing your songs, like,
I
but
I
that's a
don't.
really good like thing to kind of have as a check mark for yourself is like if I need to feel something and I need to kind of want to play it because I
Yeah.
feel like when you add one thing that stood out to me during your performance was that it felt like you were just so, I guess, I don't know how to say it, emotional with
Hmm.
your performing, and that it just made it so much more enjoyable because I was like, dang, it felt like it was coming from somewhere, like when you were performing. And then, so it just made it, and I feel like, yeah, again, like you said, not only does it make it an experience for you, but people enjoy kind of seeing that. So,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, can we do this every week?
Yeah, honestly, I'm here for just shower you in compliments. I got
Yeah.
tons. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
What was I gonna say? Okay, so guess you don't get really sick of the songs because you feel
I
something. Or is there one song where you're like, I'm kind of,
I not really, because when I do ever get the feeling of like, oh, do I have to do this the same way or whatever?
right, right,
I'm the band leader, first of all, and
yeah,
so I can always shake it up. And as
totally,
a
yeah,
person who like studies the piano and plays the piano,
hmm
that's kind of what keeps me from falling into like, I only like, if I only knew four chords on the guitar,
right,
that's it. I'm doing the
right,
four chords.
right,
But I study the piano so I can always make things interesting. And
right,
the beauty, the blessing and the curse of New York is that there's so many incredible musicians,
hmm
but those musicians are always searching for the next opportunity.
mm,
So I do have a band that I play with, And every now and again, some of them that can't make it, which invites a new person in. And that always is great because it makes things new again in a way, you know?
It's like, yeah.
You know, everybody's different.
Exactly. I was going to say that everyone has something different to offer that, you know, the person next to you. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you write your own songs based on your personal experiences, or do you kind of like what a friend's been through, or maybe like a world event? Because I was listening to Zane Lowe's podcast with Harry Styles and his new album. And I'm not sure if you heard a song Matilda, but it's one of his more popular songs on the album, I would say. And it's about one of his friends he wrote. And he's like, and then Zane Lowe was like, oh, do you think that friend knows it's about them? And he was like, I don't think so. So I just thought it was really interesting that he wrote such an emotional song based on something that's not even happening to him. So just out of curiosity, like, do you write based on your own experiences? Because I know, like,
I think they're, well, let me think. Yeah, all the songs that I've written so far are based on my own experience.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, except for one.
Okay.
One of the, I think all I'm trying to do in the songs is make a point.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So I guess like we could go by song, right?
Yeah.
Like Home is kind of just making a point on what it means, what the word home means emotionally. Like, is it a place? Is it a feeling? Is it a, something in between? Is that place changes because you start at home when you're born into the whatever home. And then wherever you are right now is probably your home. And then later you're going to have another home. So it's kind of that point. Water is kind of, I'm making a point of saying, you are me. You are the reflection of me. We are the reflection of each other. That's why you repeat. So I go, you are like the water. And then you go, you are like the water. Because it's like a wave. We're the ripple effect of each other.
I love that.
Yeah. I could go on about them all. They're all. Just
I'm curious to know what do need. What's the do need? What's the point of
That's a good one. That's a good, nice. Do need. So this one's actually a little sadder of a story. I had one of the churches I played for here in New York, which was like the first church that kind of like gave me a job and let me be really, really bad at gospel music, being like the only white kid in a like, traditional gospel church, like playing the organ, not even knowing how to turn it on like an idiot. Like they really, really
gave you
let me figure it out.
Nice. Love that.
And and they've had some very, very good organ players there. So it was nice for them to be like letting me do it. Basically. So they helped me in a big way. And there was a guy named, his name was Dooney, Donney. And he and I are the same age, and it's a sad story. He went to sleep one night and just didn't wake up.
Aww.
Like terrible.
Yeah.
And so I had this song. The chords actually came from a friend of mine who was also a drummer in college.
Gotcha.
And he kind of just took a different path in life. Stopped playing drums. He's an incredible drummer. And he just had this melody thing that he just threw away. So I took the melody. I was just thinking of the idea of the idea of like the ghosts of our lives. People who are living, like they're ghosts because they're here, but they're not in your life.
Right.
And some of them are not here physically, or
Right. Yeah.
So that song is Do Need, kind of in memoriam of this guy Dooney who was at the church, and it's about all the things that these, like him and the other guy, they kind of represented in my life, of like the things that we do need to love, to give.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. That is so cool. I didn't even put that together until you said it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're gonna listen to it in a different way now because so the first lyric is I came to greet you, sat beneath you, bend your branches down from above, because it was like you're sitting under a tree and the tree is kind of helping you.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful. Wow, incredible. I'm excited to listen to it again with like a story behind it. It's so funny because I find a lot of the times we listen to songs, like there's so many songs where I listen to and I'm just like, I know, I kind of sing along to it. And then sometimes I stop and I like listen to the lyrics and I'm like, oh my God, I've been listening to this for 2+ years and I had no idea this is what it's saying,
Yeah.
So that's
Question.
super cool. Yeah.
Do you know the song Africa?
Yes.
What are the lyrics for the chorus?
I bless the rain.
Oh, see, okay, you have it right.
Okay.
My whole life I've been singing I miss the rains.
No, the rains, like as in like
I don't know, rain, like the rain.
Oh, okay. I was like, maybe you thought the reins of like a horse.
The horse's reins.
Yeah. You thought miss. Okay, yeah. There is a lot of songs though where I just like, I don't know. There's so many where I just, especially, do you know the artist Still Lucy?
No.
He's this artist. He has very like alternative music where you can't really like hear the lyrics, and so I just say whatever. And then one time I went on one of my favorite songs by him and I was actually reading the lyrics and I was like, oh, this is what it say. Like just I've been speaking gibberish for no one. That's funny. Okay. Oh, speaking of Do Need, you have a really cool guitar solo in that song. And just out of curiosity, is that like a friend of yours who plays, like just one of the people you've met in New York? And
that is the amazing Andrew Renfro on guitar.
Okay.
He and I actually grew up in the same hometown.
Oh, as you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Did you guys know each other back home or?
Yeah, he's who I started playing music with for the first time.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So it's kind of like the birth of all of this.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed that I wrote it down as one of my questions. I said, who plays the guitar solo in Do Need?
Yeah.
Because it's so good. On the topic of your songs, what is your favorite song you think you've written? Or like what's just a song you maybe love to perform or,
It's like asking a mother her favorite child. Of course they have one, but they can't tell the other ones.
But you can't really say it.
Can't say it. All the kids are here. What do you want me to do? Give me some more wine.
Top 3 favorite songs.
I think yeah, I mean I'm proud of like Home is for me a well-written song.
Yeah, I love that song.
Like something that just not to like pat myself on the back, but just to say like get better at contribute to the music scene. Right? Something that stands up there next to Bob Dylan or near Bob Dylan or like around the corner from Bob Dylan.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I like Home. I like Water. Water's a nice song.
That one's my sister loved that one when you performed it. Yeah, when Adam performed it, he would say you're just like the water, and then you would get the crowd to repeat it.
Yeah.
I love that. It was so fun, and it kind of gave the audience a little something to do. So yeah. Cool.
I mean, I like all my songs.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't really. That's a good way to put it. That's a good.
I have songs that you'll never hear, and those are the ones I don't like.
Yeah. Okay. Are there songs like, for instance, you played for your friends where they're like, "Oh my God, this is so good," and you're like, "No, I'm never releasing that."
I've had songs that I've kind of brung into rehearsal.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't.
No. Like,
doesn't want to go. Doesn't want to fly.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. On to the next.
Yeah.
As of right now, where would you say? So you do music full time?
Yeah.
It's your. It's funny. I remember when we asked you, like, "Oh, what do you do?" I think you were like, you said you're a recording artist, and then you kind of laughed at yourself because you're like, I don't like to say that. That was funny. When people ask you, what do you say? Is that like what you say, or do you just like, I'm a musician, like I'm a singer, like?
Yeah, I think I say recording artist just because it kind of cuts through.
Like singer.
Because a lot of people when they're asking you that are not really asking you.
Right.
They're just for whatever reason.
Right.
Giving you that question for the many reasons.
It's a surface level question.
Yeah.
Broad. Yeah.
And so if I'm like, I'm a singer, it kind of just seems like cool,
nice.
Right. Good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And I feel like recording artists, I like it, it's not too, it's kind of like kind of leaves it up for interpretation, It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to, in my opinion, it's supposed to let you know that I take this seriously.
Nice.
And that if you would like to hire me for a gig, I am available.
Please. This rates? Yeah. Where has your career taken you as of like where you are now? Like, do you just find, in terms of, I wrote examples,
mm-hmm.
in terms of like travel wise, like you going all over the country or just like connecting to people, or even like personally, do you find, have you, like, yeah, I guess where has it, where do you feel like you've gone?
Oh, well,
this is a therapy session.
Yeah. Should I lay down for this?
Get you a glass of water.
Where do I feel like I've gone?
Yeah. Do you feel like, or like, I guess like,
yeah.
do you feel like you want to do more, and like you're like, this
Definitely.
is like,
I do like what you said. I like connecting with people, like yourself. It's like you doing some random gig.
Yeah.
In San Francisco at some really rich guy's house.
Yeah.
So and nice. You're just hanging out on a roof and talking.
Right.
And that I would be able to share that evening with you and any other person in a way that we feel connected, that's what I like to do. So I feel, I mean, yeah, I'm only struggling to answer just because.
Yeah, no, it's
I don't know if I've. Yeah, you might have stumped me, but that's where I feel.
Yeah.
I feel most comfortable.
Yeah, is that like what you would say you appreciate most about, your job? Like you just, getting to know. Do you, I guess, have you, I don't know, do you want to, because I feel like when you get, like, I feel like those artists that are, Grammy winning, whatever, and like, I feel like they can't really do that because it's like, oh, can I get a photo with you? Like, can I get your autograph? You know what I mean? Do you kind of want to shy away from ever, maybe making it to the Grammy stage, or would you, do you kind of like the position? Because, when I say before the blow up, I really want to emphasize that like blowing up can mean something so different to so many different artists. Right. Like, for instance, I feel like it can mean like performing in front of your family for the first time is like, you like, or I don't know, an audience of 100 people, or like maybe just getting an album out. Like, it's just like, that's like what you feel. So like, what do you feel that your blow up is, or, Yeah. And like, would you ever want to get to that point? Or are you kind of like, good? Do you like where you are?
I mean, I am definitely in the growth mode of trying to connect with as many people as possible and trying to get this music out and like as far as it can go. I will take the Harry Styles level of appreciation.
Yeah.
But I'm also realistic in that, it's like there's certain aspects of the music industry that is selling, it's selling a product.
Totally.
And it's designed for mass consumption. It's like a McDonald's hamburger, It's not the best hamburger, but it's the most available hamburger.
Right. Yeah.
And it's good when you're really drunk.
Right. Oh yeah. that's yeah.
So I'm trying to be that somewhere in there, some well-made hamburger that can also be consumed while really drunk.
Gotcha.
And also sober.
Right. Yeah, like best of both worlds for sure. Yeah.
It's also good on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah. That's a good analogy. I like that because I really, I feel like I don't listen to the radio anymore because every time I listen to the radio, I'm like, oh, like, again, like you said, I'm like, this is just another, like, I don't know, maybe I listen to this.
It is insane, sort of like when I go back to my hometown, I turn on the radio and it's the same music that was on when I was in high school.
Dang, yeah.
Which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And it's like amazing for the artists who are getting royalties from that. But we're in the age of almost too many artists. And there's so many artists and you're still playing like Sublime.
Yeah. What's going on here?
We love Sublime, okay? We love a good Sublime. But like there's so many artists now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there's so many that they're like, let's just stick to what we got.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's Florida, so we let them have it.
Yeah, exactly. The royalties are good for them. This is a different question, but what, like, so far, it can either add to like your career or just life in general. What do you think is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
The best piece of advice. I have to think, because I've been to you know what a babalawe is?
I don't. What is that?
It's like a seer, a person you would go to, and they kind of read your. It's not fortune telling. They read
Gotcha.
like the energy using these two like beads thing, and they throw the beads. And
Okay.
I've been there. Like I don't really subscribe to this stuff, but I do like what they say, even if it if it has no application to me. I got a lot of good. That's a good question. What's my best piece of advice ever?
It can be.
I guess. Well, statistically, the best piece of advice I ever got was look both ways before you cross the street, because you get hit by a bus.
Right.
That's the end.
Good one. So, yes. Like, but, the science part came into.
Right. That's a scientific answer.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Musically,
mm-hmm.
A dear friend of mine who has been a good mentor for me, he said, play for the people, not to the people. And I believe that comes from a James Brown quote. Yeah. That's playing for the people, not to the people. And that's a really good one, because when you get up there and sometimes your day is shit and you're like, I have to like turn my energy on for this or whatever. But you think about that and you're like, no, this isn't about you.
Right.
So
that's really important. I love that, because I find, I don't know, especially with the type of venues like for instance, like So Far does, I going to concerts over the past couple of years, like you saying that right now is kind of bringing some things up for me. It's like I find when I go to really big venues of like Levi Stadium or Rogers Arena in Vancouver and stuff, it's just, I find it so disconnected, and I'm like, I feel like this artist doesn't even, like for instance, I've seen The Weeknd live a few times. I saw him for his very first tour, and then I saw him for Starboy, and both times I was like, I just like left and I was like, it was good and I liked the music, but I totally felt like he was playing to me. That's know, whereas like with like smaller venues where it just feels more like for me, and it's like one with,
right.
Yeah.
You can really like share a moment.
Totally.
In the room.
Yeah.
I do like a good smaller room.
Yeah.
Like a full room where everybody's here. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you, when performing, do a lot of people film you? Do you find like a lot of cell phones are up and whatnot?
I don't know, because my eyes are closed a lot, and that's something I actually try to like. I'm like, keep your eyes open. Then 5 seconds later, I'm like,
it's hard. It's hard. I feel like you just like integrate and.
Yeah. I get very wrapped up in it, and I find also that with my eyes closed, sometimes it feels like we're in like outer space all floating together.
Yeah, I love that.
My eyes are open. Sometimes I make eye contact with a person who's like this.
You're like,
okay. Why are you always in the front?
That's so funny. How do you like performing in front of your parents? How has that been for you?
That's been funny. I mean, for them, because they're, how parents are.
Yeah,
they're approaching it from like they wanna you to succeed and do the best.
Yeah,
don't necessarily know how to achieve that.
Right.
But have many comments on things that they think would be a good idea, but are usually not applicable.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, I feel like when I'm performing in front of them, I'm like demonstrating that I got this under control.
Nice.
For now.
Gotcha. Yeah. Just kind of like a.
I'm like, just relax. Look, I told you on the phone that like.
Yeah. You can let go of the bicycle now. Don't worry.
Like, you should hire like horn section and this.
Yeah.
this doesn't pay that much money. I can't do that.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
So I'm up there like solo piano, like I got it. You see? It's enough.
That's interesting, considering your parents are both like artists themselves. They still, I feel like, have that parent instinct of, kind of guarding or trying to help you do more, kind of always,
Yeah. That show was actually really funny because my parents were at that show.
Yeah, exactly.
And my dad had that moment where he was filming me, but did a classic dad move with the camera light on. So it's just like blinding everybody in front of him.
It was the flash, right? He just had
he had he had his flash on, but
like that.
the video, it's like.
Did you watch it?
I don't know. I'm not.
I feel
it's just
that
hilarious. I mean, does he watch it? Does anybody watch these videos that they take at these things? Nobody does. You're just taking it in case.
I've gone to the point where when I was younger, like early high school days, I used to just, I get like, I see the videos on my phone. I'm like, why did I was like, put your phone down. You're like, I'm not watching these today.
Exactly. You see the video and it gives you like some form of anxiety because you're like, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah,
that's a 20-minute video.
And you can hear yourself singing in the back, and it's just like, So because before we met you at So Far, I convinced my sister and her husband to go to the Coldplay concert with me.
That's right.
Yeah, which was super cool. And
I forgot. That was a huge part of my Coldplay. And I'm not ashamed of it. All right.
Oh,
yeah.
No need to be ashamed at all. There's no. You grew up listening to a lot of.
This is the thing though. People be bashing on Coldplay.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Down, as the kids are saying. How
Coldplay
dare
is
they?
it?
Yeah. Don't.
Early Cold. What's your like?
We love Parachutes. Yeah. Green Eyes.
Good
one.
Yeah, I love
All Is Not Lost. Everything. Everything.
Yeah, everything. Beautiful. No, if anyone, no. Coldplay is. It's so funny because especially their older stuff is so depressing. It's very sad and gloomy. Sorry, but I'll be having the best day ever, and I'm like, I want to listen.
Yeah, Coldplay's best. Okay, so anyway, you guys were at
so at this concert, phones up all like the whole time, and Chris Martin, the lead singer, there was a moment he started playing Sky Full of Stars. He's like talking to the audience. He's like, can I get everyone to put down their phones just for this next 4 minutes? Like, let's experience this song right now. And we just saw like basically the whole crowd, like flashlights go off, whatever. And there's this one man behind me who had his phone up recording, and I literally wanted to like smack his phone down. And I was like, sir, put your phone down. But anyway, it was just so, and then as soon as the song ended, everyone's back up. And I'm like, dang, it's just so.
Just live here for a minute.
Yeah.
How long was the show? Like an hour and a half or something?
Yeah, it was like 2, but the opener was like 2 hours. Yeah.
It's like 2 hours. You can't be without your phone for 2 hours.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, I take my videos. I took my videos. I needed some content, but there was this woman in front of me with a selfie stick the whole time, just holding it. And I was like, damn. I was like, are you really gonna watch that? Is this, and I was like, maybe she's streaming it, but then I was like, who would want it, So anyways, lots of things going through my head. Okay. What's been the hardest part of your career?
I like how I'm loving that you're giving it form with the term career.
Well, it
just feels like
it's serious.
I love it. I think the hardest part is doing the blessing and the curse of also today is that you don't need a record label who normally held the keys for venues and all this other stuff. You can kind of do it yourself. It's just that part is a lot,
right? It can be difficult,
following up on the emails and emailing this venue and then staying months ahead. It's like it piles up very quickly, and then all of a sudden you're on a computer all day and you're like, wait a second, do I even play piano? Have I touched a piano in like days? So that probably is like the trickiest part.
I bet. Yeah.
But maybe some some managers listening to this podcast going,
maybe.
wow, I would
No.
love, I am not
Hey,
doing
I'll be your
nothing.
manager.
I am doing
I'll
nothing
get.
right now. Can I would love to have somebody to manage.
Yeah, no, yeah. Hey, you never know. It's funny. The app I release the podcast on like shows me the demographic of like where everyone is listening, and I've had like someone in Iceland and like a few people in Norway and like a bunch of random places. I'm like, I didn't even think it would, So you never know. There's lots of people out there who might just click on.
Sure.
Do you plan on releasing another album? Like what's kind of next for you? What are you working on?
So I've been doing a lot of production these days. So the first album I didn't produce. I went into a studio, we banged the whole thing out in 2 days. Just did
wow.
we just did takes.
Nice.
Take the best one, done. Move on.
Okay.
Now I'm spending more time on the production aspect of writing these songs. And I'm doing it myself. So the last release I did, Come Back as a Flower, that was all produced in this room here.
Awesome. Cool.
So
is that in your home or is this a studio? Nice. Awesome.
It's like a little room in my house.
Cute. Awesome. Okay, so kind of just producing your own music and
I'm producing my own music. I am getting a master's degree from Berkeley's in production.
Awesome. Congrats.
So I'll be probably using that time to get my degree and produce a new album.
Nice.
So, and it'll be probably majority self-produced. I'll definitely call in some favors, but
love that.
That's the plan.
Maybe we'll do another episode where you kind of break down that album of yours
after the cool down.
After the cool down, I like that. Yeah. After the cool down, post blow up. Awesome. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited to listen to your new stuff again. I really, when I was just listening to your stuff last night before heading off to bed, just to kind of like prep for today. And I was like, I feel your music is so perfect for movie montage music.
Oh yeah.
You had a couple songs. Yeah. And
Put
I was
me
like,
in a movie, please.
Yeah. I was like, I can see like this, like panning over the city or like, I was like, this is giving, or like teen montage movie. So I have a playlist of it's very small so far. But I was like, I'm definitely putting that, I forget what song it is, but anyway, I'll be listening to it again. So my closing question for you, I do this for every episode, is very simple. It's what is your song of the day?
Song of the day.
Yeah. Exactly. Ooh, maybe I could use that. I'm like,
you want it?
Yeah, please.
We can discuss rates after.
Sounds good.
Song of the day. I'm gonna go with what's the song? What's the Curtis Mayfield song? Little bit of sugar and some. That's the song I'm listening to, but the Aretha version, it's like it's a terrible. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My brain's not working. These Things You Are to Me.
These Things You Are to Me by
Curtis Mayfield. The Makings of You. Wrong. The Makings. These are the makings of you.
These are the making. You heard it here. These are the makings of you. Curtis Mayfield. Aretha.
But the Aretha version where she's doing an interview and the audio's like all jacked up. But
I love songs. I always use songs where you can't, like, there's a So Far performance done in London where it's just this band. They're no longer together, unfortunately, but they do the song and it's so good. It's not released on Apple Music or anything, so I just like downloaded the performance version, the live version from So Far, and so every time it comes on, it's like you can hear the crowd clapping. I love it. It's fun. It adds a little raspiness to it. I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I can't think of anyone better to have on as my very first guest.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you'll be back. Hopefully when, We can do a post. We can even do like a check-in. Honestly, you can be a reoccurring guest where we do updates on what's going on with you. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. I had so much fun. Pleasure. I just can't wait to. I don't know. I can't wait to do this again. So
I'm so glad we met on that.
I know,
very expensive rooftop.
That wasn't ours, but we were there. I know, and it makes it all. It was funny. We were like looking for parking, and we're like, we're not gonna find it, and then anyway, so it all worked out. I love my shirt. My sister's husband who bought his, he's been wearing it nonstop. I kid you not. That photo I have of him wearing it, he wore it that was the next day after the.
I'm gonna say. You guys look way better in those shirts than I do.
No, you look great with the little blazer too. You pulled it off. It was great. And then him and my sister came to Vancouver to visit us, and he wore it. I swear, I was like, "Do you wear that every day?" He's like, "I just really like it." I'm like, "Yeah, I love that for you." So, love. Is this available on your website or anything?
So, like I said, we are sold out of those ones. And we're only making one batch of each. So I'm gonna make I have to get the new design ready.
Gotcha.
And then we're going to make another batch.
Can't wait.
Each batch will be unique.
Also, let us know where can everyone find you on.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So you can find me Instagram is Bonomo Band. BON as in Nancy, OM as in Molly, Bonomo Band. Awesome. And then if you just do bonomoband.com, there's the links for everything there. I'm on Spotify, I'm on iTunes, I'm on Tidal.
Yep, yeah,
I'm there.
I'm gonna say my song of the day. This is gonna be hard. I'm either gonna do "Do Need" by Bonomo, or I did "Baby's All Right" last night. So I'm gonna do either "Do Need" or "Home." I feel like those are good for.
Double artist.
Yeah, yeah, or "Home" by Bonomo. Check it out. Again, thank you so much. This was so much fun. And yeah, see you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.